Who is the new Ohio State starting QB that received his college offer by using a Twitter DM? Will Howard grew up in Downingtown, Pennsylvania, playing multiple sports. But by high school, he knew football was his best chance to play at the next level. Howard was a dual threat in high school, finishing his career with over 5,000 passing yards and over 500 rushing yards on the ground, and a 3-star recruit. During that high school career, a goal of his was to end up at Penn State, the team he grew up rooting for. But they stopped talking to him after he broke his arm his junior year, along with many other East Coast schools he was interested in. But he was still just days away from committing to Minnesota before they took his scholarship offer away. He told them he needed 2 weeks to decide, but then he received some interest from Maryland that complicated the situation, and he took a little more time than 2 weeks. He still planned on committing, but before he could let them know, they took his scholarship offer away. Maryland ended up not working out as well. However, a few months earlier, he had already laid the groundwork for his future school. During his season, the O-line coach from Kansas State had followed him on Twitter. Howard knew of their head coach at Kansas State from when he coached Carson Wentz back at North Dakota State, and Wentz was his favorite NFL player. So he figured, why not try and send a DM of his highlights and see if they were interested. However, he received no response. But later on in the season, he was sending out DMs that he was going to be at a showcase, and stumbled upon that DM with the O-line coach that was never answered. He figured, why not send a double text? What's the worst that could happen? And this time he got a response. In the same day, he was on the phone with coaches at K-State, and just 2 days later, he was offered a scholarship. A few weeks later, he chose to commit there, choosing K-State over the Ivy League. He had always dreamed of playing in the biggest games, and he knew that was his best chance. He also decided he'd get to Manhattan, Kansas a little earlier by enrolling early, but still, it was a place unknown to the Pennsylvania native. And his time at Kansas State definitely had its ups and downs. A 5-game losing streak his freshman year, a Big 12 championship his junior year, and his last season there, he was able to win 8 games. He finished his career playing in 34 games and was a threat on the air and the ground. Howard has 1 year of eligibility left, and Kansas State now has their quarterback of the future. So he decided he will enter the portal and go to Columbus, committing to Ohio State. And it's definitely worth noting, they will be playing at Penn State next year, and he will have a chance to get revenge.